Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a bright sunny day today. I'm your co-host, OG Raw. We got GRANxJEFE on the other side of the world talking to me live. How you guys doing this morning?
Hey man, it's a good day, man. It's a good day in sports. As you already heard, I have a co-host now on the show, OG Raw. He's been on the show with me plenty of times. He was on the show with me on Monday. Proud to have you on the show, bro. Thank you for being a part of the family.
Thank you.
Hey,
great opportunity. I'm excited, man. The only direction from here is up. So let's do the thing, man. Let's do the thing.
How's your morning before we start?
Good morning, brother. Good morning. What about you?
Hey, good day. It looks like it's going to snow out here a little bit in El Paso. So
in El Paso, it's gonna snow
a little bit, man. We getting a little bit of a drizzle over here. So we'll see if it's going to stick a little bit. Hopefully,
I'm in sunny Seattle, and it's always raining.
Yeah, that's what it's doing right now. It's doing a little drizzle, but in other parts, I hear that there's little flurries all over the place. So we'll see if we get some snow out of that. But let's get to the big story of the day. Los Angeles Lakers played the Kings last night in Sacramento. They lost 117-116. Just give me your general thoughts right off the bat of what you thought about the game.
Oh, man. So I was so excited throughout 3 quarters to see my baby Lakers go into Sacramento and play like they had a chip on their shoulder. And then, the 4th quarter rolled around, Lonzo went out, and the next thing you know, our 15-point lead diminishes. And then we're going shot for shot with the Kings. At this point in the season, I'm not too worried about us losing this game. But if we lose 1 or 2 more games without LeBron, then I will be worried because we need to stay at least 4 or 5 games above that 14th seed. And if you look at our schedule coming up, we have the Clippers next.
Yeah, tonight.
I don't think we can. Yeah, I don't think we can beat the Clippers without LeBron. And then we have the Kings again, and that Kings game is a must-win game for these baby Lakers. I like the way they played. Kuzma went 12 for 24 with shooting, scored 33 points. You can't complain with that. He made some clutch shots, some big-time shots as well. Ingram had 22 points, which is pretty good coming from Ingram. Ball had 20 points, and I didn't expect Ball to play the way he did, but he showed up and he showed out.
Yeah, he was 1 rebound short of a triple-double, right? I believe it was, yeah.
A rebound short of a triple-double. So the baby Lakers, they came out and played, but when it was crunch time and time, to slow the ball down, we didn't do that. I don't believe we had that true veteran on the sideline saying, "Hey guys, let's slow it down. We got the lead. Let's just pull the reins a little." So
yeah,
that's my takeaway from it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. They were up 15 with 6:44, 6:54 left in the 4th quarter. They didn't have that guy to your point right there. They didn't have a guy like LeBron to say, okay, guys, let's slow this thing down. Let's grind it out. Let's be smart here. No Rondo last night either. So Rondo wasn't there to say, hey, let's slow this thing down. I think that also is a negative mark on Luke Walton because he's the coach.
Yeah.
He's the guy that should be telling them, listen, guys, we got the lead. Let's slow this thing down, especially knowing that you're playing with basically, with Kuzma, Hart, Lonzo, and Ingram are all second-year players. These guys, they have no guy. Tyson Chandler can't be that guy because Tyson Chandler is playing down low in the post. He's not handling the rock.
Exactly.
So I think
great point.
I think they missed LeBron last night or they missed Rondo last night. Somebody that can handle the rock, get everybody in the places where they need to be, and be able to take smart shots. So going forward, it's going to be able to see they cannot lose too many more games. Probably 2 more losses or so. Right now they're sitting at 20-15. 2 more losses, they could be sitting really outside the playoffs. So this stretch
Exactly.
is definitely key.
And Bogdanovich came up big. It was great defense from Tyson
Yeah, that was a
Chandler.
tough shot. That was a tough
Yeah,
shot.
it was a tough shot, and he made it. And for the Lakers, we can't allow that to happen, especially when we're up. 15 going into the fourth. You can't do that. Not against a team like the King. A team like the Kings should not be able to do that to you. If you look at their young star players, Buddy Hyde had 6 points. De'Aaron Fox only had 15 points, and he had one of his worst shooting nights of the year. So,
Yeah, because he's been playing really well this year.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
And we basically let a lot of veterans beat up on us. We let Willie Cauley-Stein get off. We let Amon Shumpert get off. Amon Shumpert had a great shooting night last night. He scored 18 points easy. So we
and
let
that's really unorthodox for a guy like a Iman Shumpert later in his career. He hasn't really been the same guy that he once was. So yeah, that's a game that sucks to lose when they play so well.
it hurts, man. It hurts.
I mean,
know for
you get
them.
outscored 33-21 in the fourth quarter. You can't have that.
You can't have that. And Luke should have pulled them together. I picked this one on Luke, and I would figure that he would be there picking up that locker room, letting them know, hey guys, I should have stepped in. You guys played well, but I should have stepped in to control the game a little bit for you guys.
Exactly. So you say going forward, you got no worries with the the baby Lakers going forward. Now let me ask you this though, because right now they're sitting in 5th place, 20 and 15. Portland is right behind them at 20 and 15, but they own the tiebreaker because they beat Portland, I believe, 2 out of the 3 times that they've played Portland so far. You got Houston sitting right there at 19 and 15 in the 7th spot, and Sacramento sitting at 8 and 19 and 16. They can't afford to lose too many of these games. Now, I don't know how many games LeBron is going to be out, but let's say this. I give you this scenario. Say LeBron is out 10 games. Are you not worried?
I'm worried just a little bit. If we don't beat the Kings, I'm worried. That's the game that's going to decide where we go from, this LeBron injury. If we don't beat the Kings, that is something to worry about.
So
that
on
is a team
Sunday,
we can beat.
starting Sunday at home, when the Lakers play the Kings, they don't win that game. Now it's panic time in LA.
That is panic time. We need to get LeBron back on this floor. We need to, give some veteran presence to these guys that's out there because, like I said, we shouldn't be losing to the Kings with as much talent as we have and as bad as the game that they had shooting. So, and especially with as well as we played, yeah, that would be a cause for concern for me.
So let me ask you another question, right? We all been hearing the rumors Anthony Davis to the Lakers is going to happen. I've seen some really credible sources saying that this deal is about as done as LeBron to the Lakers last year. Do you think just LeBron and Anthony Davis, do you think they can take down the Warriors team? Because given they're going to have to give up probably Lonzo, they're going to have to probably give up Ingram, and they may have to give up Hart. The only 2 they may keep is Hart and Kuzma. But Lonzo and Ingram are definitely out the door. Do you think that's enough to beat the Warriors? Because I still don't.
I think Anthony Davis brings something to the team that we don't have. That's another scoring threat, like someone that, the opposing team is scared of. So you put him and LeBron on the floor together, that creates, that diverse offense. Like, is LeBron going to do it right now or is AD going to do it right now? So you actually give LeBron, I think, a better chance with AD with beating the Warriors. The way the Warriors are playing right now, I don't see the Warriors being that big of a problem. I think they have a little I think we have some issues on that side of, the playing field
Uh-huh.
when they come to Golden State because you got Clay in the shooting slump. You got
They in turmoil right now.
Draymond is not fouling out of games. You got
Can't hit a
KD.
three. Draymond.
So yeah, so you got some problems on that side of the spectrum. So I think with AD though, LeBron would feel more comfortable going into a game like Golden State.
Okay, I can see your point there. I just don't think that they have enough, even with him. Now, if they would get somebody to me like a Bradley Beal, I think a LeBron, Bradley Beal, and an Anthony Davis, I think that'd be enough because you will have enough floor spacing for shooters. And when Bradley Beal can handle the rock and he can shoot it, he can take it off the bounce. Anthony Davis can get his own shots. And if we notice, those are the guys LeBron loves to play with, guys that can get their own shots. Guys that he don't really have to work as hard for. Bradley, whenever LeBron needs to take a break, Bradley Beal can handle it. Anthony Davis can do his thing. So I think one more star will get it done. Just him and Anthony Davis. I don't think that's going to be enough unless KD leaves. I just don't see that happening.
But KD's out of there. KD's done.
Yeah, I also think KD is out of there. But I still want to see it because a championship may actually want to keep him there. So
yeah, if KD stays for another championship, I would be so disappointed in KD himself.
And this is why I would say that. They would be the only team in history. Well, not in history. Sorry, since Russell's them to four-peat. Nobody else has done that. Nobody else knows how to do that except for Russell Celtics. Jordan three-peated, took a few years off, came back, three-peated again. So right now they get a chance to Shaq and Kobe three-peated. That was it. So now they get a chance to be the first team to three-peat since Shaq and Kobe, and then the next year be the first team to four-peat since Russell. That may entice him to stay.
Yeah, I feel like.
But I think he's out of there.
I'm not sure if Steve Kerr is coaching over there.
No, he's not.
If he's just letting them play.
He's not.
Because they're so talented, They're such a talented group. I'm not sure if he's coaching.
I'm glad you said that. Listen, I'm glad you said that because me and Phil, we were having a discussion at his house the other day, right? And this is what he told me. Like, we were watching, I forgot, ESPN or something like that. And I say coaching really doesn't matter in the NBA. It's not as needed as it is in football. In football, the X's and O's it's totally different. The schemes and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Way
more strategic.
He said he didn't think so. And I'm like, I don't understand how. I say, when you got guys like Eric Spoelstra, went to 4 straight NBA finals and hasn't been past the first round since then, you're telling me coaching don't matter? You're telling me Steve Kerr is letting Draymond Green and Klay Thompson draw up plays in the huddle? You're telling me coaching matters? Luke Walton went 27-0 with these. Come on, players run the NBA. Coaching matters only in certain spots. It's not as significant. That's a good point.
I agree.
That's a good point.
I do agree.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the amateur ranks, starting some college football. We got the big bowl games coming up tomorrow night. Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Notre Dame. Clemson and Notre Dame got the first slot. That's the 2 p.m. slot. That's Mountain Time. That should be 4 p.m. East Coast time. Where you're at over there in Seattle, bro, that should be 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock our time.
1 o'clock. Clemson and Notre Dame, number 2 versus number 3 in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, the semifinal. Clemson is favored by 13 points. Who you got winning that, Clemson or Notre Dame?
Let me just say this. Who have Notre Dame and Clemson played? No one. If you look at their records and their win margin, the only good team Notre Dame has really beaten would be Michigan, and that was at the beginning of the season, and they're ranked number 7. Clemson, on the other hand, they didn't play a team that was ranked in the top 10.
Now, so, I'm gonna stop you there though. Now, I kind of agree with you on Notre Dame. I don't even think Notre Dame probably is the worst team out of the four that that's in there. But Clemson is for real. Clemson Clemson is for real. You know, I I
I'm
think
not gonna
Clemson
say,
have a shot to beat Alabama or Oklahoma. I think they could beat either one of those teams with Trevor Lawrence. But what? Go ahead.
but I'm not saying that Clemson isn't deserving. But I'm saying there's other teams out there like UCF that the NCAA is making play LSU.
But who
For
have they
what?
played?
UCF has been undefeated 2 seasons
Who
in
have
a
the,
row.
but who have
And
they
you,
played
and you
though?
got them playing LSU?
They haven't played anybody.
And the same with Notre Dame. We can say the same thing about
No,
Notre
but Notre
Dame.
Dame has played a bunch of ranked teams. I mean, a bunch of solid teams. Notre Dame has played a. I mean, although
Michigan
they're down,
and TCU.
they played a Florida State team. They played a Syracuse team. They played a USC. You know, they played a Northwestern team. That's a pretty good team. A ranked Virginia Tech team. Now we look at a UCF. Who has UCF played? Memphis?
Nobody.
Nobody.
But
So
but when we look at it,
so we can't
when we
reward that.
look at it though, this is where the college playoffs is flawed though to me. This is why I look at it and I'm like, this is like a money making, money getting scheme. That's what it is. They what they do is they do it for the big audience. Which game will get the big audience?
That's
Which game
agreed.
can we make the most money
We
off?
we agree off that. Like that's a solid point, and I talk about that all the time. That it's always about money. It's always about money.
It's about the money because I'm looking at these schedules and these teams. Because if in reality, I think Georgia should have been in it. Georgia should be in the playoffs, even though they lost to Alabama. But I'd rather see Georgia play against Alabama than Oklahoma play against Alabama.
You know what? No. I don't agree with that. I don't because Kyler Murray is so special. This kid, listen, man. Kyler Murray is so good. Their defense is so bad, and for them to be 12-1, listen, man, that's going to be a good matchup. I would rather Georgia play Clemson because to me, I think Georgia gets scared when they play Alabama. You know, that's 2 years in a row that they've had a lead on Alabama after halftime. This year, they had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost.
Yep,
You know,
that is true.
So I just think Alabama is just your Georgia's, LeBron in Toronto. Yeah, they just can't get past it. So I would have rather them see Clemson and Georgia play in Oklahoma and Alabama. But you're definitely right. It's all about money. It's all about money.
And don't get me wrong. So with my pick for Notre Dame and Clemson, I'm going to go with Clemson just because I believe Clemson can outscore Notre Dame defense easily. Trevor Lawrence, he's a true freshman. I like the guy. He has thrown 2,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, and he has a 65% completion rate. And that's something I like. But Notre Dame quarterback, he's no chump either, though. So, but if I'm taking, off of pure offense, because I don't believe there will be any defense played in that game, because Clemson defense is not that great either. They have holes all in their defense. And then they have Dexter Lawrence out because he pop hot for whatever substance that is that he pop hot for.
Uh-huh.
So that just tells me like they're not going to have any rushes because he's their, future draft pick, number one draft pick. And yeah, so this just tells me there will be no defense in this game. It's going to be a shootout.
No, it's you know what? I don't think it's going to be a shootout, and I don't think this game is going to be close. Let me tell you why. I think Clemson is far superior than Notre Dame. Yes, I like Ian Book. He's a nice kid. He can sling it. He can throw it. He may be the future, but not this future. He's not it this year. Trevor Lawrence, that kid can sling it. You're talking about he only missed. He didn't even start out the season as the starting quarterback. Dang it slipped my mind right now. The guy that was in there, Kelly Bryant. Kelly Bryant started out the season as the starter, was removed and replaced by Trevor Lawrence, and he still ended the season with 24 touchdowns, 26 touchdowns, which tied in the ACC, and he didn't even start the first 3 games of the season. On that defense, they still have Christian Wilkins, and they still have Farrell, 2 guys that's also going to go in the first round. That defensive line is loaded. Now, they have good linebackers. The holes is going to be on the back end. Can they stop Ian Book from doing what he want to do? And then I missed the guy on the offensive side running the football, Travis Etienne, another guy who's had a phenomenal year this year. Eric bailing them out. When Trevor Lawrence went out in that Syracuse game, this is the game that Kelly Bryant announced he was going to transfer, so he wasn't there. Trevor Lawrence first start, he gets knocked out the game with a concussion. Travis Etienne was the reason why they were able to do what they do. I recall over 1,400 yards, 21 touchdowns on the year. That's not by accident. This Clemson team is for real. And this game, to me, honestly, won't be close. Clemson by at least 17 to 21 points.
Oh, so you got a big point spread on that one.
Well, it's just because I watched this Clemson team. I know how good this Clemson team is, being an ACC guy, and this Clemson team is for real. They put up 79 points on my Seminoles at Doak Campbell Stadium. Now, we might have had a bad year, but 79 points or 76 points, the most that we've ever allowed at Doak Campbell Stadium. This Clemson team is for real, man. I'm just going to say that they are for real.
Oh yeah, they have basketball-like numbers when it comes to scoring.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Yeah,
the points that
they could put up points, man.
How Trevor Lawrence and that run game, they just torched the defense, man.
Yeah, they can put up points in a hurry.
So who you got for the Alabama-Oklahoma game?
Now, this one is tough for me, honestly. And, everybody's saying that it's so cut and dry for Alabama, but I will urge all those people that's on that clear-cut Alabama train to realize this. Kyler Murray is the Heisman Trophy winner, and he didn't win it by accident. 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Added more on the ground. Hollywood Brown seems to be healthy. 10 touchdowns on the year. Catches almost everything just like his cousin Antonio Brown does. That defense is bad. But for all those people, I would like to say this. We already know the types of quarterbacks that Nick Saban normally struggles with. And that's quarterbacks that can move around the pocket. He cannot. Because the SEC is not built to stop guys like that. They built to stop people handing the ball off like Georgia 20-something times a game instead of letting your quarterback air the ball out.
Exactly. So
Oklahoma will sling it. Go ahead.
I was talking to a buddy about this last night. He was asking me what we're going to talk about on the show tomorrow. I was like, oh, man, I need your help. Who's going to win in this Alabama-Oklahoma game? He was like, Oklahoma. He was like, because Nick Saban struggles against running quarterbacks.
It's true.
And I said, that makes a lot of sense because he has a lot of meat up front on that D-line. So if you spread all that meat out, them boys ain't fast enough to stay up with no Kyle Murray.
No, they're not.
They big, but they ain't fast.
And Kyler Murray is tough, man. Let me tell you, Johnny Manziel did the same thing. First year that Nick Saban then played Texas A&M when Johnny Manziel was there. Cliff Kingsbury was the offensive coordinator then. And what did Johnny Manziel do? When you can improvise against that defense, because they're never always – they have maybe one guy on that back end that's always an All-American, always solid, always good, But for the rest of that secondary, if you can buy time, you can get to that secondary. They're never really good on the back end. Where they're good at is those defensive tackles, those defensive ends, and those linebackers. So let me ask you this question. You've seen the defensive lineman. Have you seen the video on the defensive lineman that was talking about Kyler Murray?
No, I didn't. I didn't see that video.
Well, there's a video floating around one of the defensive linemen, I believe it was Williams, big defensive lineman. This guy is a monster. This guy is absolute killer. But they was asking him about Kyler Murray. They was asking him about the game, and he was talking, and he was like, yeah, this and that. But he was going to say that Kyler Murray is really not all that good. But he stopped himself mid-sentence, and he was like,
as he should.
And he was like, nah, I'm good. What do you think about that? What do you think? Because he was finna say Kyler Murray is not all that. So what do you think about that? Do you think Kyler Murray is you think it's hype train, or do you think he's for real?
Oh, Kyler Murray's for real. And it's crazy because I seen a similar story when I was reading on, I think it was Sports Illustrated. I was reading a story about Ian Book and how he's going to this game, that Clemson game, with a chip on his shoulder because he feels like no one gave them a chance. And sometimes playing with that chip on your shoulder, when the other team's talking a lot of trash, you just want to shut somebody up. So you go out there and play the greatest game you ever played. And that could be the same thing with Kyler Murray. He could go out there and just shut him up. And that defensive lineman knew that. He was like, I better not say too much.
You know what? I thought he was
a bad man.
I thought he was more scared of Nick Saban, because Nick Saban to me is kind of more like a Bill Belichick where we're going to give our opponent the utmost respect. It doesn't matter who. Bill Belichick could be playing Nathan Peterman. He'll be like, listen, man, Nathan Peterman, he does everything well. He know how to read the defense. Knowing that he's lying, he's going to give everybody the respect, but they know how they really feel about people. And I think Kyler Murray is ready to show people that in that small frame, he can do what he got to do. I still think Alabama is going to come up with the win because I think their defense is just way too good. I think that they're going to come up with at least one stop to get it going. But I don't think it's as cut and dry as people want to make it seem like Alabama's just going to run away with this thing and it ain't going to be close. No, it's going to be close because Kyler Murray and them can put up 50 on you in a heartbeat. Both teams are averaging 49 points per game, so it's definitely going to be fun to see.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna be a good game. I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, let's move back to let's move to the I got one more game that I want you to pick before we make the before we move over to the NFL, and that's Florida and Michigan. They also play tomorrow. They play tomorrow morning. Be 9:00 your time, 10:00 Mountain, 12 noon. They playing Michigan. Florida and Michigan playing number 7 versus number 10. Who you think win? Just a little quick little spiel.
I'm gonna go with Michigan. I like Jim. I think he changed the culture, the dynamic of that Michigan team. I like what he's done up there. I'm gonna go with Michigan on this one. I didn't do too much researching into this game, but I have watched a few Michigan games, and I like the way they play, and I like what Jim has done up there. So.
Well, as a Florida State fan, this really pains me to say because I'm gonna have to pick Florida, and I'm only gonna pick Florida because I read that Rashad Higdon, Michigan's running back, over 1,100 yards this year, 10 or so touchdowns. He's getting ready for the NFL draft. He's not going to play. Rashawn Gary, the defensive lineman, he's getting ready for the NFL draft. He won't play. So I'm just going to be forced to take Felipe Franks. But Shea Patterson, watch out for Jim Harbaugh. Shea Patterson, that defense is still big time. Winovich said that he is going to play. He's going to play in this game and the Senior Bowl, and he's going to participate in the Combine before he has surgery because he's going to need surgery. But he says he's going to get it done after all of this stuff. So it can't be that serious if he's gonna play in 2 games and participate in the Combine. So, but I think with those other guys being out, I think that Florida team is gonna come away with the win. Polite, the defensive end, and those boys are nasty. Those guys are big time. I think Florida gets it in a close one. But moving on to the NFL. We got week 17, man. It's a lot of excitement, bro. In week 17,
make or break week right here. This is make or break week in the
hey,
NFL.
put on your big boy panties and let's roll because it's what we got. The Patriots fighting for
the AFCs look like the Western Conference in basketball right now.
Yes. We got the Patriots fighting for a home field throughout, or at least if they win, they locked up the 2 seed and they locked up the first round bye. We got Kansas City and the Chargers. Kansas City is sitting in first place right now. They lose, they can go down to the 5th seed, and the Chargers have home field throughout if they win. So this is make or break weekend. But I want to start right here in the NFC, a game that's going to be important for really one of you guys, because even if the Bears lose this game, they'll go to 11-5, and it doesn't matter. They're safe in the 3rd slot because there's no way the Cowboys could have a better record. But it's important for the Minnesota Vikings sitting at 8-6-1, who has that 6th and final playoff spot in the NFC. But if they lose it, they could be out of the playoffs. Who you got? Chicago, Minnesota, in Minnesota. Minnesota is a 4.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I got my Bears. I'm not taking any other team over the Bears. I hope we go into Minnesota, we knock them out, drag them out, make sure they don't make these playoffs, because really I want to see us as the only team from our conference in the playoffs.
Really? You know what?
That's what I want to see. I'm selfish, man. I'm selfish.
I can feel that. I can feel that, but I think y'all lose. And let me tell you why I think y'all lose. Not because I think Minnesota is a better team, which I do think Minnesota is a better team than you guys, but that's not why I think that they're going to win. I think that the Minnesota Vikings is going to win because they need it more, for all the reasons that I explained in the beginning. If the Bears lose this game, no harm, no foul, they locked up the 3 seed, because I don't think the Rams lose to the 49ers anyways,
Very true.
Yeah, so for me, it's no harm, no foul here. I think the Vikings know what's at stake. They're at home. It's going to be a little bit easier for Kirk Cousins. The crowd noise is not going to be crazy for him. I think Mitchell Trubisky playing on the road with nothing to really play for. I think they're going to come out flat. They're going to come out and lay an egg. And I think the Minnesota Vikings is going to come out with the win. I think the score is going to be...
Whoa. Don't disrespect now.
No, I think the score is going to be 28-24. I think the Vikings is going to outduel them.
You said lay an egg. I was like, hold on.
Well, lay an egg. Hey, listen, this game could be a blowout. It could be over with quick. Like I said, the Minnesota Vikings is coming out with, listen. No. I'm nothing disrespectful, but it's something about a team that's desperate. It's something about a team that's coming in hungry. And I'm not saying the Bears are not hungry. I'm just saying we know what's at stake for the Vikings. The Bears already locked up, at least the 3rd seed. They know they're not going anywhere. So this game, 1 or 2 big plays early, and the Bears could check out, man, early. Like, listen, all right, we'll lock up the 3 seed. No big deal. So that's why I think the Vikings beat the Bears.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I see Matt Nagy as the kind of coach that says, let's go get them. Let's not let anyone get any advantage. Let's just go get them.
Hey, listen, I agree with that concept. I agree with that mindset. But it's something about going out there and doing it. I mean, you can talk about it, but I think it's something about doing it. But, to that point, if the Bears do lock up the 3 seed, which I think they will, Rams beat 49ers, they stay right there in the 3 seed. Win or lose, I think the Bears stay 3. They're going to play that same Minnesota Vikings team in the playoffs at Soldier Field. That's where I have y'all winning. I just don't have y'all winning this game. But the next big game on the docket, which is the Sunday night game, we got the Colts. We got the Colts and the Tennessee Titans, a game that's do or die. This is playoff implications right here. Winner, win or go home. Both teams sitting at 9-6 for that last and final AFC wildcard spot. Who you got? Colts at Texans. Indy is a 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah. I'm going with the Colts. Andrew Luck looks so great. His line looks amazing. His running back looks great running behind that line. The things that they're doing in Indianapolis right now, look, he started off 1-5, and for him to get him to the point they're at right now, man, I have nothing but praise for the coach organization for building him up, building that lineup, and making sure Luck gets the rest he needs in order to come back to play a strenuous game like the game of football and to play that quarterback position behind a line he had he didn't know that line because everybody was new. So I got the coach.
Yeah, that's a really solid point that you made about the coaching staff because earlier in the season, people were already calling for Frank Wright's job when they played the Houston Texans, and they went for it on fourth down. Being very, very reactionary to results instead of looking at what happened during the play itself. But I'm right there with you. I got the Indianapolis Colts winning this game. Marcus Mariota banged up. Is he banged up? Is he not banged up? Who knows? I don't care. Give me Andrew Luck, the guy who's been on fire this season. We're gonna get into some awards later on, which you're gonna run down for us. And this guy he's in contention for one of those awards. As to your point, applaud that coaching staff, that front office for getting some guys in there protecting their $100 million asset. I think the Colts win this game, and I think they win it pretty handily on the road in Tennessee. It won't be tough because that Tennessee defense is for real. But I think the Colts, and that tight Ebron, the way that they've been connecting this year, I think that gives them the upper edge. I'm going to go with the Colts on that.
Oh yeah.
So since you said your Bears is going to beat the Minnesota Vikings, I have to pose the question because the only other team that's eligible to get that last spot is the Philadelphia Eagles, sitting at a half game behind the Minnesota Vikings, who is traveling to Washington to play the Washington Redskins. So does the Eagles get in the playoffs? Does Nick Foles has a little bit more magic in him?
And Nick Foles, what? No, Carson Wentz, man. Carson Wentz.
He's out. Remember?
Carson Wentz. Oh yeah,
he had
out.
surgery.
Oh,
well,
man.
he's having that back issue or whatever issue that he's having. So Nick Foles is still at the helm. He's still there.
I just read this. Yeah, I'm just reading this report right now as we speak.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP. Yes, going into Washington.
They are a 7-point favorite.
They have no quarterback in Washington. If the Eagles lose this game, they deserve not to be in the playoffs. This is just an easy, flat out win for them. Their defense, I know they're missing some key corners, but they should be able to beat this Washington team without a quarterback.
Yeah, they don't like their fourth-string quarterback. It's going to be tough sledding for Washington. I don't think the Eagles get in anyways because I think the Minnesota Vikings is going to beat the Bears, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get into some other serious implications here. Big games. We got the 7-1 Cleveland Browns traveling to Baltimore to face the 9-6 Baltimore Ravens. This game right here got AFC North implications on it. You know what? Before we get to that game, let's get to the Pittsburgh, because they're both being played at 425, the 225 slot. Let's get into some Steelers and Bengals. Do the Steelers at home beat the Bengals? 14.5-point favorite. They need to win this game. Pittsburgh needs to win this game and have Cleveland beat Baltimore. Or they need to win this game and have
and a coach tie.
So they need a lot of help. Do the Steelers get in the playoffs, and tell me how? So explain, do they get in the playoffs, and then you can jump right to the Cleveland and Baltimore game.
the Steelers aren't getting into the playoffs. As much as they want to get in, as much as Steelers fans want their team in, they're not going to get in this year. The Bengals and the Steelers, everyone knows that is like a storied rival. And for the Bengals to let them go into the playoffs, I would find that to be almost like a miracle. Because if Bengals aren't going to go, they're not going to play with them. They finna have a drag them out, knock them out game. Because they don't want to see their rival in the playoffs. Bad enough Baltimore's going. So I don't see them letting the Steelers creep into there. But when we're talking about Cleveland and Baltimore, I'm hoping Cleveland wins. But I know they won't win because it's Cleveland. Not being disrespectful.
So what you ain't gonna do is you're not gonna talk about my Cleveland Browns like we really haven't, put in work this year. We're 7-7-1, and we should be 10-6 almost.
My Bears should be undefeated, but you see where we are. We're not gonna talk about what should have been. We're gonna talk about what's happening.
I don't think we're gonna win. I hope we listen.
I hope you guys win.
The fandom,
I really do.
The fandom in me wants the Cleveland Browns to win this game. But
win would solidify Baker Mayfield, Rookie of the Year.
Well, I think he can still play good and still get it and lose just because the Ravens are better. But this is what I will say. My ego in me don't want the Steelers to win because although I picked the Steelers to win the AFC North Division at the beginning of the season, I also don't like the way they did Le'Veon Bell. All that talking that they can get it done without him. So that's why I hope.
Oh yeah, I don't like the way they do.
So that's why I hope the Baltimore Ravens do win the game so they can lock up that AFC North. But the fandom in me obviously wants my Cleveland Browns to go out with a winning season. First time in a long time that we've done that.
Yeah, I don't like the way they do business.
I don't like that.
Thing. I don't wish bad things on them, but I do wish they don't get in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio Brown went through the same thing when he was trying to get his contract and stuff situated where they didn't want to pay him. And now Le'Veon Bell, and now they don't want to pay him. So, and all that talking, Big Ben talking, we don't need him, the offensive lineman, David DeCastro and Mike Ponce, talking about we made him and this and that. Now they finna eat their words because I hope the Baltimore Ravens win this game so they can go to the playoffs. And better yet, I hope the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Steelers.
And going back to Le'Veon Bell, man, he deserves to get his money.
Oh, he deserves it.
Running backs have the shortest careers in the NFL. The shortest careers out of every position. Running backs have the shortest careers. And then they're the least paid because they're so replaceable.
Yep.
But with a player like Le'Veon Bell, he is not that replaceable. He's a game changer. He can do it all. He can catch out your backfield. He can catch down the field.
Yeah, he had 85 catches last year.
He can shake them out their shoes.
Yeah, this guy had 85 catches last year, 321 carries. I mean, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, you gotta pay a player like that. Now, James Conner, on the other hand, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? You're 31st in the league in rushing. Listen, I argue with Steelers fans every day on Twitter. It felt like, and they're telling me about James Conner, and this is when they were winning. So they was talking big cash money then, and I just told them, holler at me at the end of the season. We'll see if you're going to have that same energy, and I guarantee you won't, because this team is not the same without Le'Veon Bell. You cannot replace 85 catches. You can out the backfield. You cannot replace 300 and something carries out the backfield. And then the year before he has 70 something catches. You can't replace that kind of production. It's just impossible. So I'm hoping the Steelers eat their words, and I'm hoping that they done. You want to lead us in our final segment on the NFL awards?
Oh yeah. So we have the NFL awards. This week, like I said, is make or break week for MVP. Our candidates are Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Aaron Donald, and there's another player in the conversation as well that won't get the award.
I agree with that.
But who's your pick, man?
I think Patrick Mahomes is the MVP of the league. I mean, you look at what this guy's done, almost 50 touchdowns in his rookie season, basically first year as a starter. What he's done for that team, the big throws, and he's had those MVP type moments. You know, the no look pass. You know, the left handed throw. I just think what he's done first year to get that team could be a first round bye. I just think you can't overlook that. Drew Brees has also had a nice year. I just think he kind of lost it these last 2 to 3 weeks of the season where he really didn't do much. Go ahead.
Let me just say this. The MVP award is not a lifetime achievement award. So for all the Drew Brees fans out there, listen to me. It is not a lifetime achievement award. It's what you do in a single NFL season is what determines who gets the MVP. So Drew Brees fans, shut up.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
Yeah, I don't.
He's not getting it.
Now, I will say this, though. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was saying Drew Brees was my MVP regardless.
Oh, yeah.
But these last weeks, he just – Phillip Rivers is also in the MVP conversation, but he won't get it. But
he won't get it.
I just think these last few weeks where he only had like one touchdown, you know, and he just really wasn't playing that well, I think that's where he lost it at. So I think Patrick Mahomes is the MVP.
Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. He leads the league in QBR. He's second in passing yards. He's second in passes rating, second in yards per attempt. And he seems to always put his team in the position to win, even though his defense is terrible. And right now, his team is sitting at the top of the AFC. And for him to go out and score 48 touchdowns in basically his rookie season, dude, that is big time. I didn't even know who Patrick Mahomes was before the season.
Me neither.
But now he's a household name.
He's a beast, man. He's a beast. Now, I will say this. In other games, as I'm getting a ambulance flying through my window, as everybody can hear, Patrick Mahomes here really didn't perform as I would like him to in big games. He kind of seemed to underperform in big games, but he put up such big numbers. It's kind of hard not to give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, what we're looking at from a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, when the Chiefs said, hey, we're getting rid of Alex Smith for this guy, I was like, who is this guy? Why would you get rid of Alex Smith? Alex Smith is a good quarterback in today's league. Why would you get rid of him? And for him to come out and play like this and make me a believer, that gives me I love watching the kid. I know when he plays, it's going to be exciting. I know he's going to put up points. I know he's going to make the right decisions. I know I'm not watching garbage.
I can agree with you on there. What we got next on the docket?
So rookie of the year for the offense. Who you got this year?
Rookie of the year. I'm going to go.
Candidates are Baker Mayfield, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I'm going to go Baker Mayfield. I just think what Baker has done for that Cleveland Browns team, 64 completion percentage, 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Since he came into that Cleveland Brown offense, it has looked totally different. Tyrod Taylor for those first 2 games of the year. And that's another reason why I'm going to do it. We're talking about a guy who missed the first 2 games of the year. You know, who knows what he could have done? Who knows if he could have got this team into the playoffs had he been there since week 1? We might have not needed a field goal in overtime to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So for me, I think Baker Mayfield is there. I like what Saquon has done. I just think, though, when you've had a million opportunities to do things, you're going to have the numbers, and I think that's what it's come down to in New York with Saquon Barkley, that Eli Manning couldn't push the ball down the field enough to get it to Odell Beckham and Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram and those guys. And a lot of that stuff was checked down passes to Barkley, which is the reason why he got 87 receptions. Now, you can't fault him because they just relied on him. But I'm just saying, when you have those opportunities, you better do something with it. Almost 1,200 yards, 14 total touchdowns. For me, I just think Baker Mayfield has been better.
I'm gonna do this in spite of you picking Baker Mayfield, just for the heck of it. Saquon Barkley is my rookie of the year, and I believe if Cleveland loses this week and Saquon goes off, they're gonna give him that award. The Giants are without Odell Beckham, so this gives Saquon a chance to get big numbers this week. Then again, Cleveland is playing, I think, the number 2 defense in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. So this could be make or break for this award.
Well, we pretty much shut that defense down the last time that Baker played them, so we ain't worrying about it. We got the number. Baker Mayfield has been playing lights out. He's been doing his thing. Saquon Barkley has kind of taken a step back over the last 2 weeks. He only got 74 yards rushing in the last 2 weeks. That don't seem like rookie of the year caliber to me. So for me, I think Baker Mayfield, who's finna eclipse 4,000, is about to eclipse 4,000 yards. He would need 600 yards rushing, but who's almost could be on pace if he get about 300 to 400 yards this week. About 200 yards shy of 4,000 yards and missed the first 2 games. I like my chances.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna get into it. Who's gonna be the defensive player of the year this year?
Defensive player of the year to me, I think I already know where you're gonna go with that, but I'm gonna go Aaron Donald, and I'm gonna go Aaron Donald because this guy's getting double teamed. It's amazing, man. This guy gets double teamed 77% of the time. This guy still ended the season, or he still got a chance. But right now he's at 19.5 sacks on dope, and he's an interior defensive lineman. So this is an interior defensive lineman just wrecking havoc. This is not, I get it. Khalil Mack, he's on the outside. Look what he's done for that Bears defense. I get it. I'm not taking anything away from Aaron Donald. From Khalil Mack, but this guy Aaron Donald, 4 forced fumbles on the year, 19.5 sacks, 55 tackles, interior defensive lineman. Who else is better than this guy here?
And as much as I want to be a hater, I can't hate on Aaron Donald. The Rams did the right thing by paying this man because at first they said they wasn't going to pay him. And I said, you guys are some idiots if you guys don't pay this man. And what he's doing, he's making them eat their words when they weren't going to try to pay him at first. But luckily they got the deal done. Aaron Donald is out there tearing through 1, 2, 3 blocks like it's nothing. He definitely beat my man Khalil Mack out of it this year. When he played the Bears, we kept a double team on him. Sometimes he triple teamed us. The running back. So,
and this guy still almost got 20 sacks on the year, man.
So, last but not least, we got Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to go ahead and give my pick. Bradley Chubb of the Denver Broncos. I think if he breaks the rookie sack record, he deserves that award. He has 12 sacks going into this week's game. He needs 2.5 to tie it, 3 to break it. I'm not saying he can probably tie it, and they'll probably give him the award. Darius Leonard from the Colts is also in this conversation, but I'm gonna give it to Bradley Chubb. So,
well, I may be biased here, but it's really not biased when you think about the whole scheme of things. I'm gonna go with Derwin James. I mean, this guy as a safety, a rookie. This guy got 99 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 interceptions. This guy does it all. He plays linebacker. He plays defensive end. He plays nickel corner. He plays corner. He plays safety. This guy, I mean, there's nothing that he can't do on the football field which is the reason why he's so successful. He's positionless. A guy who can run a 4.4, who's 6'3", 220 some pounds. I think Derwin James has had one of the better seasons as a rookie. Bradley, but listen, all three of these guys are more than deserving. This guy Leonard, man, is like a tackling machine. It's like he wake up tackling people. It's crazy how many tackles this guy got. So all three guys will be deserving. My pick will go for Derwin James.
Okay. Oh, so now we're just going to get to it. Comeback Player of the Year. Everyone knows who it is. I saved him for last. Andrew Luck.
Yeah, I think this is easy.
That's an easy pick. There's no taking that away. So here it is. Andrew Luck, Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, and I was a tad bit skeptical about Andrew Luck coming back. When they had him throwing those, when he couldn't even throw like a 2-pound ball. But this guy has really, really came back this year on strong. At one point in the season before they played Dallas, he had 8 straight games of 300+ yards and a touchdown. So, Andrew Luck, I think, is more deserving of Comeback Player of the Year. No doubt about it. That's going to be it for today's show, guys. Hey, appreciate you, bro, once again for joining the family. Official co-host now, Unpopular Opinion, GRANxJEFE, OG Raw. You got anything you want to take us out on for the weekend?
Yes. Be sure to watch those college football games. Be sure to check out the Lakers tonight. And be sure to love one another. Be blessed. Have a good weekend. This is OG Raw signing out.
See you guys on Monday.